You know what it is! It's Taco Tuesday!
Everyone is talking about storytelling NFTs. Is this the new meta for the NFT market? Yes and no, and I'll explain why in today's video. I'll also be covering existing NFT collections that have a storytelling focus that could see some positive price action because of the hype and narrative around storytelling NFTs. And I'm also going to cover projects that are minting very soon that are storytelling and lore focused that could perform hot out the gates because of this narrative. If you guys have been buying and selling NFTs in this bear market, hammer the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. When we talk about storytelling NFTs, these are going to be a lot more interactive than you just buying into a collection and having that piece of art. Usually it's going to be a lot more community driven, where the community has a huge say in the direction of the project. When it comes to storytelling NFTs, the first collection that comes to mind, hands down, is going to be Jenkins the Valet and the collections that have come out of this community. For those of you who aren't familiar with Jenkins, he was a member of the Bored Ape Yacht Club community who wanted to start this project shortly after BAYC minted that had more of a writing and just creative focus that was storytelling back. And so we created the Writers Room, which was essentially going to be this creative community that built on decentralized storytelling, meaning that the members of the community, it's going to be token gated, are going to have voting power and creative direction over the stories and the product that comes out of the Writers Room. And so it was a supply of 6,942, and this was basically the Genesis pass for this collection. Now with the Writers Room, just scrolling down, you guys can see that there are different levels or different tiers for the Writers Room, and the more rare you get, basically the higher access, the higher voting power that you'll have by owning one of those. With Jenkins being from the BAYC community, obviously a lot of that community showed early support and bought into the Writers Room. And so Bored and Dangerous was the first creation or product from the Writers Room. This minted in July, and basically it kind of pushed the threshold on licensing your NFT. By being in the Writers Room and with Bored and Dangerous, I want to say like over 4,000 Bored Apes and Mutants were actually featured in this book in some kind of capacity, which is crazy. And then the bigger benefit is that everyone who was licensed and still holds those NFTs was going to be able to get a portion of the profits in the end. This book was written by Neil Strauss, a 10-time New York Times bestseller, who wrote the novel, the characters and illustrations that were featured in it. So this is really, really cool. Floor price sitting at 0.48. And there's actually some game theory around this. On their website, they have a really great breakdown of this game theory. So, you have the Writers Room, and from the Writers Room stemmed Bored and Dangerous. Then with Bored and Dangerous, you have two different options. You can burn that book, which many have, and they're going to get a Azure root, which is going to be used for Azurbala, an upcoming collection that is really, really focused on storytelling. And so it talks about that right here. This is gonna basically be the PFP collection that's coming out of this ecosystem. By staking the Bored and Dangerous book, you are going to get governance tokens in Hawthorne, which is a community-led DAO around collective creativity. One of the benefits of storytelling NFTs is that they're very interactive, but the downside is that there's actually a lot of work. You really have to keep up to date, read all the developments and lore that's going on to have a really good understanding of how the project is developing. If you do end up burning Bored and Dangerous, you're gonna get access to Azurbala, as I talked about. There's not a ton of information out there on this yet. I don't think it's gonna be minting anytime soon, but join the Discord if you're interested and check out their website. They're definitely creating this more metaverse kind of experience where there's a ton of lore. There's going to be this greater kind of Bible and long story of lore around the different factions that they're building out here. So this is definitely one to keep your eyes on for the future. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I would say Goblintown has been the most successful NFT project when it comes to storytelling and world building. They had the entire NFT market's attention encapsulated in what they were doing. They used community engagement, memes, and world building to get everyone super involved, taking this what I believe to be like a free mint, or basically a free mint, all the way as high as like 8 or 9 ETH in a bear market. Just absolutely unreal. I completely missed out on this one because the art is something that usually I go off of heavily, and I just thought, wow, this is just gonna be another degen project, but by having the name, Goblintown, when we're going to Goblintown, everyone's bags are down bad, and having an established team behind this one that really pushed the community. And that's exactly what Truth Labs did here. They set up Goblintown with this very unique font style that they've used across all of their socials that stood out in all the noise that's in the NFT market. When you saw that Goblintown font, you knew exactly what it was in reference of, and it had its own unique brand because of that. In their Twitter spaces, they really leaned on this like McGoblin burger, and I don't know if that was Truth and the team doing that because they knew they had this art and kind of collection ready in the background, but if not, then they armed their community with like an airdrop and an extra collection that leaned into kind of the memes that they were already pushing and were being talked about with the second NFT, McGoblin Burger. Recently, they dropped this third collection, Grumples, which once again, same kind of art style. Their minting experience with McGoblin Burger, and I think with Grumples as well, was very unique. It's all tying into this world as if you're playing a video game. And I think the way they armed the community and the way that they had the entire space looking at Goblintown, especially with that art style, was a marketing use case and strategy that I think should be studied in schools just because of how well they captivated thousands of people. A project that I rate highly, and I still don't own any of, but I think it's one of the best projects when it comes to storytelling and world building, is going to be Chimpers. Chimpers is very similar to Jenkins the Valet. Chimpers, the artist behind the project, what I would consider to be one of the best pixel artists in the space, took a very similar approach to Jenkins the Valet. He's also from the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. But looking at TBAC here, the Boring Ape Chronicles, you guys can see some of the various different assets that they built out before they did the greater Chimpers collection. So, the Diamond Fleece was this really rare NFT piece that was part of the story that they had. These were selling for as high as 45 ETH months and months back. They had an ebook very similar to Bored and Dangerous, and then they had kind of these scenes and these animated videos that gave you more exposure into this greater world that they were creating. Even their website is just super interactive. They built out a ton of stuff from an arcade game. They have their own marketplace. And even with staking now with the dojo, it's this very interesting gamified mechanic where you're kind of getting experience by staking, not actually getting a token. But I think even with just the standard Chimpers collection, which is still holding about a 1 ETH floor, I believe the Boring Ape Chronicles 2 or TBAC 2 is in the works and something that they're working on. So that's going to be another opportunity to get into this ecosystem and kind of be a part of what they're building here. I know the community is super active. They're really into everything that's created with the narrative and the world. And once again, I want to compare it to like a video game. Imagine your favorite video game and how you do side quests and side activities in that world to feel like you're more immersed into it. These NFTs are giving you an experience that's similar to that. Now I want to look at upcoming projects that are minting very soon that are taking this storytelling approach, and Critters Cult to me is at the top of that list. I covered them in great detail in my upcoming Solana projects video, so check that out if you want to know everything about it. But they're doing a very similar route to Chimpers. They have these short videos that, still, using PFP art, these very short videos that are giving you a sneak peek and a trailer into what they're creating. They're very, very scenic. They don't give you a lot of information, but it gives you this world building that makes you very interested. You want to learn more. You want to understand more about what is going on. There's a story here that you can follow, and that is really what they're leading on in terms of the utility of this project. Heading to their website, they literally break it down like a story. Prologue, they give you a little bit of information here. You look at the background, they talk about their influences into the setting, and then the art itself, which is obviously going to be driving the storytelling. And so the principles they talk about, it's going to be, narrative driven, and they're really going to focus on world building. I hope they bring in the holders and the community to help push out what the actual narrative is going to be, and hopefully there's some kind of DAO or decentralized storytelling where you're able to vote and kind of help with the direction of it. but either way, Critters Cult should do extremely well. Next, we're gonna be looking at Seizon. I hope that's how it's pronounced. They even try to help you out here, but it's very, very early days with this one. Only 14,000 followers, not a ton of information that's being shared so far. You get an idea of what the art for the project is gonna look like here, and they are rewarding those who are actively engaging with their Twitter right now. What they have shared so far is chapter 1, a story written in the clouds, engage to join the community. So, it's a kind of a short story here. They don't give you any information about the actual project. There's some characters' names that are shared, and they're kind of just illustrating this world that they're hoping to build. Shout out to NFT Boy. I want to give them credit with this really great thread that gives a lot more insight than what you'd see on, their Twitter or website. Basically, here's kind of the look at the art. The artist is going to be, from Niagara Falls, Canada. And here's the team, which is also listed on their Twitter if you want to check out some of those guys and kind of keep up with their Twitter for if they're announcing a Discord or any other information. But Seizon is Japanese for survival. The character Glue, which I kind of highlighted on the medium paper, lands at this mysterious planet, and you're trying to figure out what is going on. The community is going to have a huge influence over the universe, everything from the mint information to the future plans. So it's really going to have that decentralized storytelling that we've kind of seen throughout some of the projects that I've covered. This is going to be their first project. All the characters that are going to be introduced are going to be unique. It actually looks like there's going to be 12 different characters, and then I'm assuming the collection, I don't know how big it's going to be, but those are going to be variations of those 12 different characters, maybe different moods that they're in, or something along those lines. Either way, I think Seizon is going to be a very interesting project to keep your guys' eyes on, especially with this narrative around storytelling right now. Very early days, we don't know a ton. So as things develop, we'll get a better idea of kind of the future outlook for this project. Do I think storytelling NFTs are the next meta? Yes, because I think every single NFT project out there, for the most part, should have an element of lore or storytelling. No, in the fact that, is it gonna be the meta that just kind of pumps and dies out? Absolutely not, because we've seen very successful projects really lean into lore and having a more storytelling approach. And I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. I think if anything, Goblintown, among the other projects I covered in this video, taught founders and future founders that having storytelling involved in that greater interactive community engagement is a huge asset to mobilizing these online communities, whether it's DAOs or just people on Twitter in general. I think there's so many creative people in Web3 and that participate in NFTs that they can add, fan art and, video, animation, memes that'll all contribute to these really creative storytelling projects. And when it is decentralized storytelling and the community can vote and change what is actually happening, it gives holders and investors a real chance to participate with this project on a daily basis. Rather than just buying an NFT, holding it in your wallet, you actually have a reason to check in on a daily and weekly basis to see, vote on certain topics or participate in the future outlook of the project. Storytelling NFTs are something that I am definitely interested in. I think these are not going to go away, and until we see real products and utility built out, I think storytelling is one of the best options that we have. I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts in the comments. Do you guys look for lore and storytelling when it comes to the NFTs you're buying, or do you think it's silly and that's not really a focus of yours? I'm really interested to see. As always, if you guys don't already, follow me on Twitter at HotTacoMD. That's gonna be where I share my thoughts on the market, certain projects, a lot faster than I'm able to put out YouTube videos. So definitely follow me on Twitter. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, hammer the like button, subscribe to the channel to see more, and until next time, I'm out.